How's it going, everybody? My name is Rinzler here, back again for another video, and welcome to my very final KBW Career Series episode. Today we're going to be looking back on the career of Paul Wall. He, in my opinion, was one of the most underrated talents in KBW. I know I say that about a lot of KBW talents, but Paul Wall really did have everything. He had the legitimate look, he had the size, he had the likability, and he had the talent. In my opinion, it's a shame that Paul Wall never got to have a run as the world heavyweight champion. So even though I'm making a video about him last, he's certainly not my least favorite KBW wrestler. That distinction, as you all know, goes to Big Time Mike. And Paul Wall, I don't pick favorites with anybody in KBW. Paul Wall is one of my favorites. Everybody in KBW is one of my favorites, honestly. And it's a shame that this has to be my last career episode, but it is what it is. I was going to make more episodes based on like Maxzilla and Hazard and Jacob Storm and the like, but none of them had careers that that could be done in an entire video of their own that wouldn't be ridiculously short. And I was tempted to merge them all together into one longer video, but I decided that would be confusing. So I decided that even though I like those wrestlers, I'm not going to make videos about them. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll make a video about them if there's a season 6 and they do more with their careers. But for now, Paul Wall is the last person I plan to do a career video for. So before I get this video started, I want to let you guys know that I'm sorry if you hear any noises in the background. It's a thunderstorm outside, so sorry about that. Anyway, without further ado, let's discuss the career of Paul Wall. Paul Wall first debuted in KBW Season 1 as part of a tag team with Mr. Brown called the Bama Boys, who were initially feuding against Blaine and Trey, Cage's henchmen, but ultimately Mr. Brown left KBW to go to military school, and so Paul Wall quickly became a single star in Season 2. In Season 2, Paul Wall was given a partier gimmick and mellow-sounding entrance music. He came to the ring with sunglasses, a snapback, and a mock cigarette, which acknowledged the obvious play on the name Paul Mall. Personally, this gimmick didn't click too well with me, as a guy the size of Paul Wall felt a little out of place with a partier gimmick, but luckily his in-ring ability overshadowed his silly character. At first, his name was spelled P-A-L-L instead of P-A-U-L, but this only lasted for one match, luckily. Paul Wall's first match of the season was against the Bama Kid. This match, in my opinion, was a bit of a hidden gem. It was one of the few matches that in Season 2 that didn't have Cage or AK-47, and these two actually gelled pretty well together, in my opinion, with Paul's power-based offense being a good opposition for Obama Kid's aerial-based offense. Ultimately, however, the match would end in disqualification when Nick Frazier interfered and attacked both men. Soon after, Paul would get involved in the backstage brawl with Cage and AK-47, where he let his intentions of pursuing Cage's undisputed title be known. Paul Wall then competed in a fatal four-way match against AK, Nick Frazier, and D-Man to determine the official #1 contender, but in the end, both Paul and AK got winning pinfalls at the same time, so it was decided the title match would be contested under triple threat rules. Paul in the end pinned AK to win the Undisputed Championship, his first and unfortunately only title in his entire career. After successfully defending the title against AK, he would drop the title back to Cage in a truly epic and violent ladder match. This was Paul Wall's best match, in my opinion, and he truly looked like he belonged in the main event here. Paul would only end up competing in one more match in Season 2, though, and that was the Royal Rumble match. During the match, Paul hit D-Man with a fallaway slam and accidentally threw him on top of Maxzilla in a move that clearly wasn't planned, and Paul seemed really guilty afterwards. Luckily, though, nobody got hurt, but this was the last time we saw Paul in KBW for a very long time. I'm not sure the exact reasoning why he left, but I personally believe that maybe he left because he felt bad about the bad botch during the Rumble. But I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure what was going on behind the scenes. Maybe he just needed to go away for something else. Who knows? That's just a theory of mine. All I know is that Paul Wall was sorely lacking throughout the rest of Season 2 and most of Season 3. Paul wouldn't return to KBW until the tail end of Season 3, where he stormed the ring and took out the Renegades single-handedly. It was a hell of a way to make a comeback, and he luckily was portrayed as a simple giant badass instead of a laid-back partier this season. The commentator, Justin Williamson, really put over Paul on commentary when he removed his hood, and the Renegades did a great job looking incredibly shocked and scared. It was, in my opinion, KBW's best return. He followed it up by facing Pac-Man later on in the episode, defeating him in about 2 minutes. I mentioned in my Pac-Man video that I was disappointed these two didn't get a longer time to have a proper match, as they were both very talented and could have put on a great match together, but I also understand the need to make Paul look strong in his return. The next week, Paul would continue his winning ways by squashing Maxilla in a couple of minutes as well. Paul Wall was essentially kind of like Sting in WCW during the Attitude Era. He didn't really talk and he was very mysterious. He basically made sure that the Renegade Assaults stopped happening. Paul's last Season 3 appearance saw him as a special guest referee for the Triple Threat World title match between Cage, AK-47, and the Bulldozer. In Season 4, Paul Wall heroically faced both Mick the Brick and T-Rex of the Renegades in a 2-on-1 handicap match, which ended in disqualification when Mick hit Paul in the stomach with brass knuckles. Paul would be saved from a Renegade assault by returning Mr. Brown, who now donned a military-themed gimmick and changed his name to Major Brown. These two then reformed the Bomba Boys to have a dream match of sorts against Execution, which also unfortunately ended in disqualification when the Renegades interfered and attacked both teams. The next week, however, Paul gained revenge by assisting Cage in taking out the Renegades after they'd walked out on their match with the Disciples. Later on in the episode, Paul and Cage faced each other in a really underrated match, which I'd say was one of Paul's best matches of his career. The Bulldozer, however, would interfere later on, and Paul would lose the match. Paul would then be AK's third opponent in a gauntlet match, but would lose ultimately by disqualification when Bulldozer attacked him once again. This led to Paul and Bulldozer having a dream feud, pitting KBW's two biggest and strongest against one another. They faced each other in an arm wrestling contest, which Bulldozer hilariously cheated to win by spitting water in Paul's face. At Bloodthirsty 2, they faced each other in a last man standing match, which was another great match on an already great card. The match ended in a draw, though, when the trampoline fell on top of them both, after Bulldozer speared Paul while he was holding it up. Unfortunately, this feud never properly ended. We never got another match between the pair, and Paul didn't do anything notable for the rest of the season, and didn't appear at all in Season 5. It's really a shame because Paul had some obvious main event potential and the fans liked him. He always put on great matches for a guy his size, and he was practically impossible to hate. Regardless, Paul had a great series of matches during his career, and he has nothing but a great career to look back on fondly, in my opinion. Now, thank you guys for watching this video and this entire series. This is not going to be my last KBW video of all time, though. There is one last video I want to make in the KBW series, and that is going to be a video focusing on the history of KBW as a whole. And I'm planning on making that video very soon, so stay in tune for that. And this video on Paul Wall is, of course, going to be my last KBW career video for the reasons I said in the intro. And I apologize because I know that I didn't get to do videos about everybody, but I just can't make videos on guys like Hazard and Jacob Storm who didn't do enough with their career, in my opinion, to warrant their own video. Like, I don't even recall Jacob Storm saying anything during his entire career. Hazard didn't talk really either. People who don't really talk don't have long careers to discuss. And I almost didn't make a video on Paul Wall because of that, but he did enough with his career. He was a Season 1 veteran, and I really liked Paul Wall enough that I decided I needed to make a video about him. But just because I made a video about him last, I want to let people know I certainly don't think lowly of him. He just happened to be the last guy on my list because I made a list of people I was going to make career videos on, and it just happened Paul Wall ended up being on the last place. So I apologize to Paul Wall and his fans for that, because I do like Paul Wall a lot. And anyway, guys, remember to stay tuned for that KBW video, that last one. And remember to give this video a thumbs up. Share this video with all of your friends and family on all of your various social media platforms. Ring that notification bell and let me know in the comments down below what you liked and didn't like about this particular video and what I could do better in the future. And I will see all you dudes and chicks in the next video.